Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our weekly webinar brought to you by the Emergency Leadership Team here at Langston University. I'm Ruth Jackson, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Teresa Powell, Vice President for Operations, Joshua Busby, Dean of Students, and this week we're also joined by Mrs. Cynthia Buckley, our AVP for Student and Employee Services, as well as President Kent J. Smith. In today's session, we'll provide our weekly COVID-19 status update. We will talk in detail about our federal mandate and guidance process. This is a follow-up to an email that went out to our university community last week. We'll provide our COVID-19 vaccination and testing opportunities. We'll review once again our campus level operational posture. We'll provide some updates on our campus safety. We'll hear from Dean Busby regarding our residential housing, health, and safety inspections. We'll pause for questions and discussion, and as always, we will end by reflecting on resilience. So at this point, I'll turn over to Dean Busby, who will provide our COVID-19 numbers.
Thanks, Dr. Jackson. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy November to you. Yes, it is November, November 1st. And so quickly to give you the updates as of noon today, as you see, the Oklahoma total cases are now over 645,000. The current active cases are 64, just a little bit over 6,400, and the deaths are right at 10,710. In Logan County, we have just over 6,000 total cases. Since they've been tracking, of course, only 162 active cases. And unfortunately, we do have to report 111 deaths in the county. On all four of our Langston University campuses, our total case count is at 185. We only have one current active case. And of course, as always, we want to provide and note that that is the total number for all of our cases, all of our campuses, since the university opened in July of 2021. And at this time, I do want to turn it over to President Smith, who is going to talk about the COVID-19 vaccination federal mandate based off of the information that was sent out last week. President Smith.
And good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for participating in today's webinar. Just in case some of you either did not receive the university email that I sent out last week, or in case you may not be aware, President Biden, United States President Biden, issued an executive order in September requiring all federal contractors, those who have contracts or subcontracts, to comply with the COVID vaccination mandate requirement. You know, after spending quite amount of time with our legal counsel and several other universities, both in-state and out-of-state, numerous others, it was determined that we would have to comply with President Biden's mandate. And that was the message that went out. And just so to let everyone know, if the university did not comply, potentially we put at risk many millions of dollars. I mean, to the tune for our university holistically, we're talking well over $100 million at stake for Langston University. So as a result, we did put out a notice last week that all university employees, including adjunct faculty and student employees, would have to comply with the federal mandate to be vaccinated by December 8th. However, we did in that notice, and we are including a waiver process both for religious and medical reasons. So just wanted to make sure I mentioned that in today's webinar and provided some clarity, and we're happy to answer any questions through the chat as it comes up. So thank you very much, Dean Busby.
All right, good afternoon, colleagues. Just wanted to join and share a little information about the exemptions and the requirements. And so as we know that faculty, staff, adjuncts, and student employees have to be in compliance by December the 8th. Compliance means that you have been fully vaccinated. That does not include the boosters. So it's very important if you have not considered being vaccinated, we encourage you to go ahead and do those processes now, because it is important that you meet this requirement by December the 8th. And you can certainly contact my office, contact me if you have any questions regarding the requirement by the December the 8th deadline. And so individuals have to be able to demonstrate by showing the evidence of their vaccination card by December the 8th. We are working with the company MedProctor MedProctor will be the company whereby you will be able to upload a copy of your vaccination card to a portal, and to be safe and secure. Your information will be kept and maintained there. We'll be able to run reports and tracking of those individuals who have satisfied the requirement by that December the 8th deadline. For those individuals who feel as though they are eligible for one of the 2 exemptions, we do also have that information to share with you all on today regarding the exemptions. And so what you have probably already heard, and we want to remind you of that, is that there are 2 exemptions. The first one being the medical exemption. And so this slide shows some of the information regarding the medical exemption, and we are finalizing our medical exemption forms that will have a lot of this information on it to share, but it would be similar to a regular ADA accommodation, whereby you have to have the information from your doctor that says that you meet this certain criteria. So we'll get that information out to employees as soon as possible regarding the medical exemption status, but you do have to be in a high-risk medical exemption status to meet this requirement. And so the other exemption, the second exemption, is a religious exemption, whereby, again, it's going to be a form that we're going to provide to employees that shares information regarding the vaccination based on religious accommodation. And it has to be a sincerely held religious belief which prevents an employee from receiving a vaccination. And so all that criteria is going to be shared with employees, so that employees who feel as though they meet those 2 exemptions can provide the required necessary documentation to me, so that I can review it for consideration. So if you're going to be vaccinated, you will upload your information to the MedProctor portal that we're going to share more information about it momentarily. But if you want to be considered for the 2 exemptions, just email that information directly to me for review. So we are putting in processes in place so that our employees can meet these requirements by the December the 8th deadline. So by December the 8th, you would have to upload your information, your vaccination, to MedProctor, or email me your exemption forms by that December the 8th deadline. And now I'll turn it over to Mrs. VP Powell for instructions on how to use MedProctor.
Thank you, AVP Buckley. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that introduction and on the processes for complying with this mandate. It's really important. We wanted to share a little bit of information on if you are already vaccinated and need to submit proof of that vaccination, or if you're looking to do that soon. As Mrs. Buckley stated, we do have a process in place with a partner by the name of MedProctor, and this is a company that is utilized really at medical schools throughout the country, including here in Oklahoma, to capture immunization information for their medical students. So that's how we came upon it. And we're happy that we're able to partner with MedProctor. And it's a very intuitive, very user-friendly process. Ms. Buckley and I were trained on it recently. And I think it's going to be a really good solution for those of us who will utilize this form of verification. So the first thing you will receive is an email that looks something like this from MedProctor. We are sharing email addresses of all employees. As a reminder, this does not extend to the general student body unless the student is employed by the university. So if you get a paycheck from the university, you're going to get one of these emails saying that this is a tool that you can use to comply with the federal mandate. So you will get an email similar to this. It will have the MedProctor logo. It will be directly from MedProctor. Again, it's a secure exchange of information. And this email will prompt you to share that information. And we've actually already worked with them to get this set up. So it should be very quickly coming to you with the information on how to get into the system and upload really just simply a photo of your CDC card showing your vaccination. Again, we're not concerned about the booster shot. This is just your series of vaccination, complete series. If that's Moderna or Pfizer, it's a 2-dose series. If it's Johnson & Johnson, it's a 1-dose series. And an infographic we'd like to share just really easily on how to upload your information. Again, it's MedProctor is the name of the partner that we're working with. You will visit the website, you'll click on register, and you'll create an account using your Langston University email as the credential. It's important that you use your Langston University email because that is the email to which your record is tied. So if you use any other email, you're not going to be verified, and you could be at risk of being out of compliance. So it's very, very important that you use that Langston University email to create your new account. You'll fill out just a profile with some information, name. We will be submitting CWID for employees. It may ask you what location your duty station is at. If you're on the Tulsa campus, Oklahoma City campus, Langston, or at the Ardmore site, we may ask you for that information so that we can have that for reporting and tracking purposes. And then we will have you upload a copy of really just a photo again of that CDC card is all we're looking for. The MedProctor system is very dynamic. It accepts immunization records of all sorts and all kinds. So the instructions may be asking you for different forms, but you're only concerned with that CDC card for the COVID-19 vaccination. So again, we're just looking for you to upload that card, and the proof of immunization, it will not be seen by coworkers or supervisors. It's going to be a secure exchange directly to the MedProctor system. And with that, of course, we always want to share the opportunities for vaccination on our campus. And once again, we will be sharing opportunities for vaccination this week, as well as subsequent weeks on our Langston campus, and certainly happy to coordinate on the urban campuses as needs arise there as well. So this week on the Langston campus on Wednesday, as we traditionally do, we will hold our vaccination clinic from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That will be by appointment only, and we send that link out generally the day before, so you can look for that on Tuesday, tomorrow, through your Langston University email account. The following week, we'll hold it again on Wednesday, and Wednesday prior to our break, we will hold it on the 17th. The next Wednesday, of course, we will be closed for Thanksgiving break. So we just wanted to update you of the coming Wednesdays when you can get that vaccination. And once again, please be reminded that the full vaccination, according to that executive order, is that you're fully vaccinated with your final dose in the series and you're 2 weeks past that final dose. So it's really important, as Ms. Buckley stated, that you start that vaccination series as soon as possible so that you can be in compliance with the federal mandate. And now Dr. Jackson will give us some more information and reminders on our campus levels and operational posture. Dr. Jackson.
Thanks, CP. As a reminder, we're currently operating within the level 2 operational posture. Again, our hybrid instruction continues with enhanced protocols. Those of you who are planning campus events and meetings, remember that we ask you to send your requests and protocols to luevents@langston.edu. We continue to house at regular occupancy, with the exception of our traditional dorm, Young Hall, with enhanced protocols. We need to have reduced access, and we ask that we continue to have face coverings on campus. We ask social distancing. Please make sure you're keeping up with the resource information that's shared weekly for COVID testing and and now importantly, COVID-19 vaccinations. We ask that meetings are held virtually when possible, or outdoors. And don't forget that we have Thanksgiving break coming up, and the expectation is that students return for the remainder of the semester. So make sure you check your email for information specific to post-Thanksgiving operations and a message that was sent out from Housing and Residential Life. So with that, we'll turn this over to Dean Busby, who will talk more specifically about upcoming health and safety inspections.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. And so we are winding down our health and safety inspections. Of course, those started October 20th, and they will conclude on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, November 3rd. And so very excited and to report that housing staff has been completing and doing that work and gathering some great information. But also I want to thank our students for being open and accommodating to allow our housing staff to do what it is that we've tasked them to do, which is to go in and to inspect the spaces for any damages to the structures or furniture or any of those things, and to make sure that we note that and note it accordingly. And so we will be completing that process on Wednesday evening. And then also just real quick plug for our students, on Friday, we will be opening up our housing applications for the spring as well. Please be on the lookout for more information to your Langston email address from the Office of Public Relations. But on Friday morning, we will be opening up the applications for the spring semester. And so with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Jackson to facilitate our discussion.
Thank you, Dean. So as always, we pause and give you an opportunity to ask your questions. You can either use our question and answer function or drop your question in the chat using the chat feature. So we do have one question. Has it been determined yet if our vendor partners, such as Aladdin and HES and Follett, ImageNet, will they be required to comply with the mandate? Been determined yet? VP Powell?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It is still under review by the Office of Legal Counsel whether those partners would need to comply. Of course, we encourage everyone to be vaccinated if they are able to be, just for the betterment of the low transmission rate on our campuses, all 4 of our sites. However, we do not yet know if that mandate will extend to them, if that federal mandate will extend to them. It is possible that it will. The way that the executive order is written, it is written in such a way that anyone working within a campus or environment where federal contractors are positioned or employed, then that mandate would extend to them. So we're not yet certain. I can't say for sure whether or not that will end up being extended to our partners, but I think that it's likely that it could be. We'll be sure to share that information as soon as we receive the final analysis from legal counsel. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. We have another question. Will we have booster shots on campus, or should employees and student employees arrange to get those on their own?
I can take that one as well. We have been talking to Total Wellness, which is our partner who gives the vaccines on campus. We've been talking to them about these booster shots for some time. So the vaccine that we give traditionally on our campuses is the Moderna vaccine. That booster shot is not yet available. It's not yet approved. So they do not yet have that available to them. Of course, we know the Pfizer vaccine is available, but they do not have that as part of what they're able to offer us us at this time. So they have assured me that once it is available, they'll be happy to incorporate that as part of what they are offering on our campus on a regular basis. There's some discussion now what that dose will be. The booster dose is likely to be half of what the traditional first and second dose would be for Moderna, for example. But as of right now, they do not have that available simply because it's not yet available to the public. But we expect that once it is made available, that is something that they will have. For those of us who received the Pfizer vaccine, we do encourage you, if you're able to go to a local pharmacy or to your local health department, you can get those booster shots at a location. And if you have questions or you're looking for a location to receive a vaccine, you can always find vaccination locations at vaccinate.ok.gov. Thank you for the question.
You. Don't see any other questions in our Q&A or in our chat. So I will encourage you, as always, if questions come up after we've concluded our webinar, please feel free to email those questions to luelt@langston.edu. Again, you can send your questions to luelt@langston.edu. Thank you for your questions. So we've reached the point of our webinar that we call Reflecting on Resilience. For this week's Reflecting on Resilience, I'd like to focus on some of the great work that's happening with our faculty. One of the things that we know that throughout the pandemic, instruction has continued. Our hardworking faculty has continued to deliver dynamic instruction, very often utilizing technology in ways that are beyond the ways that we did pre-pandemic. And I can't thank our faculty enough for the flexibility that they continue to show in working with our students during the pandemic. It's no easy task to shift your instructional model from face-to-face, 100% in-class instruction to what we have now, but our faculty continue to do a phenomenal job. In addition to teaching, the other tenets that faculty are responsible for are scholarly activity and service. And so in recent faculty meetings, our deans provided highlights of some of the great work that's happening on our campus. And so I'd like to highlight a few. Just please note that this is in no way an exhaustive list of the great research, scholarly activity, grantsmanship, and service that's occurring, but we want to give you a snapshot of some of the things that are happening. So the first group that I'd like to highlight is a group of faculty research scientists within our School of Agriculture and Applied Sciences. Our research fellows, research scientists, as well as our phenomenal faculty within the School of Agriculture and Applied Sciences have published 5 research articles in very highly selective and highly regarded peer journals. So I'd like to say congratulations to our faculty and our research scientists. This is very impressive, so please keep up the great work. Additionally, in the School of Arts and Sciences, I'd like to highlight Dr. Wonderful Faison, who's chair and assistant professor in the Department of English. She recently published in the International Writing Center Association's 2021 Outstanding Book, Learning from the Lived Experiences of Graduate Student Writers. The title of this article is Race, Retention, Language, and Literacy, the Hidden Curriculum of the Writing Center. In addition, the Department of English and the Department of Communications are launching the first ever journal entitled Pedagogy, Praxis, and Prose, a journal. We anticipate the first issue to come out in fall of 2022. Professor Daniel Thompson, Instructor of Communications, is the newly elected president of the Oklahoma Broadcast Educators Association. The OBEA is an association of broadcast educators from 15 Oklahoma colleges and universities that work with electronic media professionals to strengthen broadcast education, encourage interest in electronic media professionals in the broadcast education arena, and exchange information and ideas among broadcast educators and electronic media professionals. The School of Business, Dr. Nancy Alexander recently received a $10,000 grant for Progress, Accomplishment, Thriving, and Hope from the Aleutian Foundation. These scholarships will be distributed to students in the Masters of Entrepreneurial Studies. This is a needs-based scholarship. This is unique because there aren't many opportunities for scholarships for graduate students, so thanks to Dr. Alexander for seeking out this and providing this resource for the students in the Entrepreneurial Studies program. Also, congratulations to Dr. Alexander for the work that she's done that resulted in $35 million in grants to disadvantaged farmers across the country. So this is a phenomenal cross-reference between the School of Agriculture and Applied Sciences and the School of Business. School of Education and Behavioral Sciences, Dr. Olympia McGowan, Dr. Philip Lewis, Dr. Desmond Delk, Dr. Leonard Newby, and Dr. Perry Sanders presented at a national conference, the National Learner Centered Conference at The Ohio State back in September. The School of Nursing, Dean Teresa Hunter was selected to be a panelist at the annual meeting of the Oklahoma Nurses Association. The panel focused on building diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Finally, from the School of Physical Therapy, I'd like to highlight Dr. Aaliyah Chaudhry. In 2019, the APTA, House of Delegates, appointed an 8-member special committee from across the nation. Dr. Chaudhry was one of only 8 appointed to the special committee. The APTA is a professional organization that represents over 100,000 physical therapists, PT assistants, and PT students. The charge of this group was to conduct a comprehensive review of the bylaws of APTA and propose amendments that would be transformational for the organization. Last month, the House of Delegates in a special committee meeting held in D.C. Voted 91% for the delegates present to pass the proposed amendments. And these amendments and bylaws have not been amended for 50 years. And it's exciting to know that our very own School of Physical Therapy, the Langston University School of Physical Therapy, was at the table when physical therapy history was being written. So congratulations and thank you to Dr. Chaudhry for representing the university well. So again, research, grantsmanship, teaching, and service, just a snapshot of all the great work going on by our very talented faculty. So thank you to all of our faculty, staff within the Academic Affairs Unit for all the hard work that you continue to do. And with that, we've come to the end of our webinar. So please stay tuned, check your email for the next email date of our webinar. And until then, we end by saying, take care, Lions.